In the vast expanse of Houston's dark history, few stories have captured the public's imagination quite like the Icebox Murders of 1965. The discovery of Fred and Edwina Rogers' bodies in their Houston home was horrifying enough, but the mystery surrounding the gruesome crime and the sudden disappearance of their son, Charles Rogers, has baffled investigators for decades. This cold case, marked by brutality, betrayal, and bizarre theories, remains one of Houston's most infamous unsolved mysteries. On June 23, 1965, police were called to a modest home at 1815 Driscoll Street in Houston's Montrose neighborhood. Fred and Edwina Rogers, an elderly couple in their 80s, had not been seen or heard from for days, and concerned relatives requested a welfare check. When officers arrived at the house, they found the doors locked and no signs of life inside. What they did find, however, was far worse than anyone could have imagined. Upon entering the home, officers found everything seemingly in order, except for the disturbing absence of Fred and Edwina. It wasn't until they opened the refrigerator that the horrific truth was revealed. Inside the fridge were packages of neatly wrapped, butchered human remains, stored alongside everyday food items. The police initially thought the meat was from a slaughtered animal, but as they examined further, they found human heads in the vegetable crisper. Fred and Edwina Rogers had been brutally murdered and dismembered, their bodies meticulously cut into pieces. Their organs had been removed, and only their heads, torsos, and limbs were left. Investigators quickly realized that the murder was no ordinary crime, it was a meticulously planned and chillingly executed act. As police scoured the crime scene for evidence, one person was noticeably missing from the Rogers household, their son, Charles Rogers. Charles, who was 43 at the time, lived with his elderly parents but was rarely seen by neighbors. A reclusive and enigmatic man, he communicated with his parents only through notes slipped under his door, and he had virtually no interaction with the outside world. Charles' sudden disappearance following the murders immediately made him the prime suspect. Investigators discovered that he had a background in military intelligence, having served in the Navy as a pilot during World War II and later working as a geophysicist. His intelligence and knowledge of anatomy, combined with his eerie isolation from the outside world, raised suspicions that he had the capability to commit such a precise and gruesome crime. The search for Charles, however, led to a dead end. Despite an extensive manhunt and investigations across multiple states and even internationally, Charles Rogers was never found. He seemingly vanished into thin air, leaving behind nothing but speculation and unanswered questions. The disappearance of Charles Rogers only added to the mystery surrounding the Icebox Murders. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged about his involvement and the motive behind the killings. While the evidence points to Charles as the prime suspect, the reasons behind the brutal murders remain unclear. One popular theory suggests that the murders were the result of long-standing domestic abuse. It was reported that Fred and Edwina were controlling and abusive toward Charles, and that his father had stolen money from him on several occasions. This theory posits that years of psychological torment and financial exploitation may have pushed Charles to snap and murder his parents in a fit of rage. Another, more elaborate theory involves Charles Rogers' alleged connection to high-level conspiracies, including the JFK assassination. Some conspiracy theorists believe that Charles was involved in covert intelligence operations during his time in the military and had connections to the shadowy figures behind the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. In this version of events, Charles' disappearance was not an escape from justice but rather part of a broader cover-up, suggesting that powerful figures may have helped him vanish. While these theories add intrigue to the case, they remain speculative and unproven. The absence of concrete evidence, combined with Charles' ability to seemingly disappear without a trace, has left the case frozen in ambiguity, with no clear answers in sight. More than 50 years later, the Houston Icebox Murders remain one of the city's most disturbing unsolved mysteries. The shocking nature of the crime, The precision with which it was carried out, and the eerie disappearance of the prime suspect have all contributed to its lasting place in Houston's dark folklore. The case has been the subject of books, documentaries, and countless discussions among true crime enthusiasts, but despite the attention it continues to receive, no new leads have emerged. The house at 1815 Driscoll Street has long since been demolished, but its legacy lingers in the minds of those familiar with the story. The Icebox Murders are a chilling reminder of the horrors that can lie hidden behind closed doors, even in seemingly quiet, suburban homes. The fact that the crime remains unsolved only deepens the sense of dread and mystery surrounding it, leaving the public to wonder if the truth will ever be uncovered. The Houston Icebox Murders are a haunting chapter in the city's history, a brutal, methodical crime that shocked the nation and continues to perplex investigators. The disappearance of Charles Rogers only adds to the mystery, leaving behind a trail of speculation and unanswered questions. Whether the murders were driven by personal vendetta, psychological breakdown, or something more sinister, the truth remains locked in the shadows of time. As with many unsolved cases, the lack of closure only fuels the public's fascination. The gruesome discovery in that modest Houston home has ensured that the story of Fred, Edwina, and Charles Rogers will continue to haunt the city for generations to come, a grim reminder of how little we truly know about the people who live among us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy true crime stories and chilling unsolved mysteries, be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button for more spine-tingling content.